Hi, and welcome to Facebook Live. I'm Anthony Salcito with Microsoft. We're in New York City with an amazing array of technology and devices for an announcement that we made today around the importance of education. Now, there's a lot of technology behind me and throughout the event that we celebrated this morning, but what really came through, what's most important, is the opportunities that we have in every classroom around the world to change the future. And at Microsoft, our bold commitment that was made today by Satya Nadella, our CEO, was the opportunity that we can unleash, the potential that we can unleash in every student. Now, technology can be a great tool when we have empowered educators who can fearlessly use technology and new ways of teaching and learning to inspire the best in every student. At Microsoft, we're about that, powering through listening to educators learning. Now, we launched a number of things, they announced a number of things today. One of the things we talked about is a new experience with Windows 10s. A version of Windows that's streamlined for classrooms, making it really easy for schools to use technology efficiently, having Windows when you need it, with the security and management tools that schools demand from the Windows experience. We announced a number of great things with Office 365 to really power schools with skills to really create the energy that prepares students for the classroom today, but the workplace tomorrow. The announcement of Microsoft Teams, which is joining the Office 365 family, is amazing. We talked a lot about mixed reality, things like Minecraft, Surface Laptop, but all of that really pales in comparison to some of the amazing experiences that we hear from educators. Educators that are empowered with technology to create these activities in their classroom, and we're joined by many of them here today, and I'd like to welcome our first guest, and he was part of the live stream that if you have a chance to take advantage of, Anthony Newbold, a great leader and teacher at schools. We're going to talk a little bit about how he's using Office 365 in his school. Come on and join me, Anthony. Good to see you, Anthony. How's everything?
Anthony, nice to see you again.
So tell me a little bit about what you talked about, how you're using Office 365, OneNote, and maybe even potential use of Microsoft Teams in your school.
All right, so I presented today on Microsoft Teams, and it's a great tool for student collaboration and conversation. You know, those are two of the things that we're really focusing on as we talk about preparing our students for the future. Those are skills that have been identified as skills that our students are going to need as they enter into the workforce.
It's absolutely true. The workplace is changing. We know learning is changing. How students communicate, collaborate, get access to information has changed, but the skills that the workplace requires is changed. You know, things like communication, collaboration, creativity, these are things that were not necessarily standard in the workplace even of 10 years ago. It's essential today. How do you do that with Office 365?
So we use a variety of tools. We use the online tools in Word and PowerPoint, Excel, in order for students to be able to collaborate on lots of projects and things along those lines. We use OneNote as our kind of digital hub there at the school, where teachers have digital portfolios for art. They have portfolios for English and things along those lines where they can showcase their work. Teachers can give real-time feedback to the students that is ultimately going to improve their academic performance.
That natural collaboration, the insight that an educator can get, maybe that would require a teacher to be over a shoulder of a student before, happening naturally in a tool like OneNote, it can create a different dynamic for the learning progression. Now, one of the things we talked about a little bit was Microsoft Teams, which is a new member of Office 365 family, but really creates this collaboration space to make that really, really seamless. How do you see that working in Bear Creek?
It's going to work wonders. Number one, teachers can chat with individual students. You can chat with the entire class. There's video capabilities, so you have that anytime, anywhere capability, where if students can't make it to school today, they can video in. All of the EDU tools that we have with Kahoot, Flipgrid, and a host of others are all right there. Students never have to leave that particular platform. So it's your one-stop shop in the classroom, and teachers can populate it and monitor and provide feedback. I mean, it's a wonderful tool, and I'm really excited about it.
Well, you've been a great leader in terms of embracing technology in your school, but one of the things that we certainly know, I think this is true that you've addressed, but certainly something that I see around the world, is getting teachers prepared to not only use the tools, but to teach differently, to embrace new ways of teaching and learning in and out of their classroom becomes paramount. It's really about people, not about technology. You've embraced it. How have you figured it out, and what guidance would you give to other listeners around how they can approach technology to teach and learn in new ways?
You know, it can be a very scary thing for teachers to have to delve into this new world of technology because we're not digital natives, but our students are. The thing that I've done that has really assisted our teachers is I've given them the ability to make mistakes. I've encouraged them to take those risks that are ultimately going to be of benefit for the students. And when you take that particular approach, teachers are a lot more prone to actually take those risks and do those things in the classroom that may push them and may challenge them a bit. So our teachers are a lot more comfortable with doing those things these days, and I'm really looking forward again to where this is ultimately going to go.
Well, thanks for the work that you're doing. Thanks for your leadership, and thanks for joining us today on the Facebook Live. Great to see you. Absolutely, good to see you. Now, Anthony shared a lot of what is core to the way in which all of us are learning, that fearlessness, not being afraid to fail, but being opportunistic about how you can embrace new innovative learning opportunities is what we need in classrooms all over the world. We get a chance to be inspired by it, and I can't be inspired by anyone with more energy and passion for driving change in our classroom than our next guest on the Facebook Live, Tammy Dunbar. Tammy is not only an education leader, but she is someone who's challenging the way in which we can teach and learn with devices. So Tammy, talk to me a little bit about, thanks for joining us, Tammy.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. This is amazing.
So we know technology is really about how do we harness the tools that we have in the classroom. And certainly devices that are thoughtful, affordable, easy to manage are critical. Tell me a little bit about that, what you saw some things today, and how you approach that in your ideas around how we take advantage of this range of technology in classrooms.
Well, for all the teachers out there, the thing that's exciting is they're going to save me so much time, and time is so valuable. I was noticing the difference logging into the new Windows 10s. Like that logging in, and the time that will save. I can't tell you how long sometimes it takes when students are logging in. So just to start right away is awesome. And then taking a look at the integration, I was very excited with the 3D. Right now with the Creators Update, we've got Paint 3D, but to be able to create something in there, they were showing me a space shuttle.
Sure.
And how you can do that and bring it into eventually PowerPoint, and then manipulate it with the morph transition so that it's just looking at something this way, that way, showing it here, there. It's so beautiful. Right now, when we want to do something like that in PowerPoint, we've got to take a lot of time to go out and find a picture, and they're not always the same, and to have that beautiful continuity is going to save me time. So that's the first thing I thought of was time. But then again, think of what you're doing for our students. You are helping us differentiate for our students. We have students who are very tactile, and the STEM information is incredible that's going on, especially what you're going to be doing in the Microsoft stores. We're very excited. It's a little far away from us, but I'm thinking of getting a field trip over summer with my students because it's exciting.
We'll share a little bit of a preview of that later in this Facebook Live.
Okay, so I'm really excited about that, but also differentiating by allowing students to use digital inking. We know from studies how much more they learn if they can digitally ink. And I've got students who are very much the writers. And then we've got the students who not so good at writing, but really like the listening and the learning tools that we've got. Of course, I'm a big fan of learning tools. That's not new, but just seeing the new commercial just got me all verklempt.
Yeah, I was amazed to see not only Lauren's students and Anthony's teachers joining us. Really great to share their story.
Very exciting. So, and I was also really excited about Teams, because I've been using Classroom in my class, and it's wonderful to be able to assign students something, again, saving me time, but assigning them something and having it come into one place where I can grade it right there and not have to go into individual accounts, but to look at Teams where we're going and seeing that I can have this class, that class, my PLC, my intermediate group, my school site council, everybody in one place. And then when they showed me the button I could push to Skype from within it, I said, can I have it now, please?
Well, that not only the creativity that you can build, but the collaboration, building that environment, making it seamless to bring tools like OneNote and Skype into the experience, that's paramount. We get that feedback from educators, not only using Office 365, but using a range of technology, that the integration of these products is often the challenge. Maybe one product on its own works well, but I've got to learn a whole new language, a new context in another product. If you can synthesize that and make it easier, that creates open opportunities for learning. And Teams creates that hub where you can collaborate, communicate, and get access to a range of applications, not only within Office 365, but others as well.
So my main takeaway from today, I was thinking about this. Someone said today that we're preparing students for jobs we don't know what they're going to look like. I think they said 62% of students, 72% coming into schools right now, kindergarten, we don't even know what their jobs are going to look like. But the tools that we're giving them and that you're helping us give the students, they're going to be so successful because we're scaffolding information and it keeps growing and growing, and they're getting skills and talents for problem solving and creativity and critical thinking, communication, collaboration. So I got to tell you, I got to thank you here on Facebook Live, because you're not a company, you are our partner, and I really appreciate what you're doing for my students.
Well, thank you. We are inspired every day by educators like you, and really fueled by your passion and energy to help students not only achieve more, but achieve and create the future. So thanks very much for joining and sharing your thoughts on the event today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tammy.
Take care.
Well, yeah, Tammy referenced a bunch of the skills that are not only necessary in schools, but commonplace in the workplace. And certainly one tool that brings out, and with exuberance and energy, creativity and problem solving and collaboration is certainly what we see with Minecraft Education Edition. It's something that when I travel, I get students who ask me very detailed questions about crafting, students who raise their hand with curiosity and interest in not only how technology can be applied with what they're building within Minecraft, but exploring the world around them that they reflect in the game. And so I want to share a little bit about that work and what's going on with Minecraft Education Edition. Please join me in welcoming Melissa Renchie to talk a little bit about Minecraft Education Edition. Thanks for joining, Melissa.
Thank you for having me.
So you are someone who's embraced Minecraft Education Edition in the classroom. Tell me a little bit about that, how the journey has gone, what you've seen in terms of the experience from your educators as well as your students in terms of what they're learning and the learning environment more broadly.
Well, we first started with doing it as an after-school program. My 9th graders that you see in the video were hosting 4th and 5th graders from a local elementary school and teaching them about how to do collaborative learning in Minecraft Education Edition. And so we used the Classroom Edition. We were able to kind of manage students that way. And then most recently, this Code Connection piece came up. And since I teach computer science principles, I'm going to use Code Builder to actually show my kids how to do the algorithmic thinking, how to do blocks. It's going to be the first thing I start off with in the fall.
I'm awesome. It's going to be it's exciting to see. One of the things I'm excited about Code Builder is because I got a chance to see some amazing Minecraft worlds that have been created by students, including your students. And I can't imagine what they're going to be unleashed with the Code Builder experience. So you're excited about what's going to happen?
I am. I'm actually going to do a problem-based learning unit at the end of this year, and it's all around designing engineering challenges. And just one of the things you do for engineering challenges is personalizing learning. So I'm going to talk to the kids about how can you personalize the learning of understanding coding concepts with this. So I have a few just are going to try this out. I am excited to see what they do with it.
Well, you're excited, and certainly that's clear. But we often hear from teachers a little fear about, Minecraft, I don't know what it is, or maybe I'm concerned about bringing games into my learning environment. We certainly see parents who are worried that their children are spending a little bit too much time playing Minecraft. What are some of your experiences, advice, and maybe guidance that you can provide to some of the folks who are a little bit concerned about what's going on to share all this amazing potential to transform learning opportunities?
I like to think about the collaborative piece. Like, we're teaching our kids to be collaborative and work in this world, but we want to teach them tools. So one of the things you do with Minecraft is you also do Excel, and you talk about building, and you talk about the cost of building. So you're using a bunch of different tools. And I will tell you that with that after-school program, we showed them Excel, and they took to it immediately. And we're teaching it within context of a project, and that's, I think, the piece I would say to parents is Minecraft is just one piece of the tool. It's a piece of the project that they can use to kind of create these new worlds and work in a world together.
Yeah, it's amazing to see, and most of that work happens outside of the game. One of the things that I'm always excited about is that students have notebooks filled with their ideas.
Yes.
And they've planned it out, and they collaborate with each other before they actually start using Minecraft. And when teachers see that, they get excited because it's far bigger in terms of a learning resource than they ever imagined.
I agree. I like to see, and that's one of the things people talk about, is get your kids to have some graph paper. Before they even get started and go into the world, bring out your graph paper. Have them be drawing what they want to do before they get started. It's just like engineering thinking, right? We're going to make them come up with a plan. You're going to rethink your plan. You're going to maybe make some changes to that. But either way, these all things need to take place even before you start building.
Absolutely.
It's classroom management that we all know so well.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I can't wait to see what's future coming with Minecraft. Thanks very much for your leadership. Thanks for joining us today in the live event and sharing your thoughts on Minecraft.
Thank you, Anthony, for this time.
Thank you. So Melissa shared amazing experience that she's having with Minecraft Education Edition, and I can't wait with the integration of the STEM activity in the coding with the Code Builder elements in Minecraft Education Edition. I can't wait to see what the students will be creating around the world, and it's an amazing, easy to use learning activity for teachers. Teachers are building versions of their school that I get a chance to visit. I've explored schools virtually that have been created by students. Students from around the world creating national landmarks in their country or other countries to learn about cultures, to learn about construction. There's a far range of skills that's coming, and it excites me and inspired by amazing educators like Melissa. So now we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that we're talking about that is exciting for all of us. How we're using things like advanced reality, mixed reality, virtual reality, and augmented reality inside of our classrooms. How can these tools, these technologies that we see outside of the world, be brought thoughtfully into our classroom? So I'm joined by Ben Reed. Ben, thanks for joining us here in Facebook Live.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Megan shared a lot in the live stream today about what Microsoft is doing with mixed reality, virtual reality, and augmented reality. Can you share a little bit about some of that?
Yeah, so one of the cool things about all of our work in mixed reality is that, and you and I haven't met before, correct?
Not
okay,
all.
so
This could be a hologram.
It could be. I know something about you. I know that you're an expert in something, at least one thing, and that is that you're an expert in the three-dimensional world. Yeah, I know this because you're dressed. You came here, we walked around. You're holding a microphone, and so if we can unlock the capability that you have as a human being, which is to be a master.
I've mastered the art of standing. Yeah, it's great.
You're a master of the three-dimensional world. If we can unlock that and make that available to people through mixed reality, which is essentially the blending of the physical and the digital, then lots of possibilities come from that. And so our announcements today really center on that, unlocking that for people in education and learning.
So you talk about mixed reality. Some educators are connected to virtual reality and augmented reality. How do you define and explain the difference to an educator who's just interested in learning about this new potential?
So we think about mixed reality as the entire spectrum. Everything from, on the one hand, you have the physical reality, that's the one we exist in. On the other end of the spectrum, the digital reality, that's the one that exists in the mind of a computer. Everything in between is just mixed reality. Augmented reality is at one end of the spectrum, virtual reality is at the other. But we are thinking about the entire spectrum from end to end, so that really you don't have to worry about it. It's all mixed reality at the end of the day.
Great, and this is exciting, and I know many educators are excited to bring this thinking, this new ways of creating immersive experience to their classroom and to their students. How is it making it easier? How is Microsoft helping making it easier for educators to use these tools naturally in their classrooms?
Well, one of the things that Megan showed on stage was how educators could use simple tools like Paint 3D to explain complicated three-dimensional constructs. So on stage she showed how you could use Paint 3D to explain how a solar eclipse happens, and that it only happens very rarely because of the different angles. That's all about understanding spatially things to do with spheres and their orbits. So that's Paint 3D, and that comes, pretty much any computer with Windows 10 gets that now with the Creators Update. But that's also with PowerPoint, how you could then create a presentation that includes 3D, because we know that learning, comprehension, and understanding happens better in 3D, and it stands to reason, right? Because, like I said, we exist in the 3D world. And then on top of that, we also had the immersive headset showing that Windows mixed reality experience. That was when she was looking, I think Amy, her colleague from the team, showing how you could move around and explore the solar system. Essentially taking children on field trips. There's a reason why teachers take people on field trips. Children learn better when they're out of the classroom, they learn at their own rate, and they're able to experience it physically. And so with what we're doing there, you can see how you can take people to a place that would either be impossible or impractical to go.
And one of the things that I'm excited about, just the evolution of these experiences being sort of standalone, isolated experiences to being integrated into core productivity tools that students and teachers are very familiar with, part of a core platform like Windows, just make it a lot easier to integrate these experiences naturally into the lesson plans.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing she showed was the View mixed reality experience, and all that took was a computer running Windows 10 that had an RGB camera, and she was able to show and teach something which, as I've spoken to educators here at this show, they've said, the ability to show students the understanding true size and scale of something. They showed the Mars rover, which, gigantic compared to how we perhaps perceive it to be. That's really powerful, and that's, opened up to a whole group of people that, wasn't previously.
I'm excited about the work. Thanks very much for joining us, Ben. I appreciate it. Now, I'm excited about the work that's going on, certainly in virtual reality and certainly mixed reality, and we're bringing that into the platform with Windows. Incredible, and I can't wait to see some of the educators and some of the partners embracing this new way to create immersive experiences for teachers. Now, one of the things, we've got a lot of amazing technology. Right behind me, we have our Hacking STEM Pavilion, and our Hacking STEM Pavilion is highlighting the ways in which we're bringing coding and engineering, computer sciences to lesson plans for teachers to use. This is going to be highlighted in the Microsoft stores around the United States that were highlighted earlier in this live stream. But I want to learn a little bit more about how we come up with the projects, how you as an educator can take advantage of this work in your classroom very, very easily. Joining me is Jason. Jason, you've been an educator really leading this work. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks. I'm Jason Ewert, and I am helping Microsoft hack STEM.
Great.
So I've been a middle school teacher for 20 years, and I've been working with the Hacking STEM group to democratize STEM. STEM learning should be for everyone, And so now we are developing these great maker-based lessons that incorporate 21st century skills. So we have mechanical engineering, software engineering, electrical engineering, and then of course data science. So we've also hacked Excel, and so now we have all of our instruments attached to Excel, and we're visualizing data on Excel to do iterations with our project and make our projects better, modify the students' projects, and so it's been very fun. Right here we have an example of our biomechanical finger, and so we have a 25-cent flex sensor made of copper tape and conductive plastic, and a bubble tea straw, and a little bit of code on an Arduino controller, and now we have a biomechanical finger that flexes in conjunction with my pinky finger. And you can do the same thing with a biomechanical glove and a full hand, or you can take it to the next level like some of my 7th grade girls did and make a animated dragon.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And all this data actually can be connected to Excel,
That's
so you
correct.
can get telemetry on what's happening.
That's correct. So with this particular project, when you flex your finger, the percentage flexion and extension is visualized on Excel, and there's also a visualization of the finger moving on the XY axis.
Awesome to see. Now, you mentioned a lot of the elements that are in demand. A lot of teachers are hearing about STEM. You talked a lot about the importance of computer science, but also bioengineering, the engineering dynamics going on. It's amazing to see. There's a lot of teachers who understand it. They get that reality. How do you make this real? How do you make this easy for a teacher to bring in her classroom?
So we've been developing some OneNote notebooks and some lessons that have instructions and all the materials needed to do these lessons. And so essentially what you can do is you can go in there and you can look at these lessons. There's an analog and a digital component. You can take what you want to fit your own curricular needs, or you can do the whole thing. And so basically, if you just go in there and just start messing around with it and dig in a little bit, you'll find some things that are applicable to what you're doing in your classroom. And I think that once you kind of get the ball rolling, then the possibilities are endless. And your students will, I mean, basically what you have to do is give your students these skills and then get out of their way, because they'll do amazing things.
Yeah, I can imagine. And you've designed these lesson plans to be very easy with affordable activities, things that may be sitting around in the cafeteria of a school.
Yeah, that's correct. So, obviously our goal is to democratize STEM. Not everybody has $2,000 per table group of 4 kids to spend on robotics parts, and so we are grabbing materials from the cardboard recycle bin. We're grabbing bubble tea straws. We're grabbing felt and duct tape, and all of these affordable, accessible materials that can then be used to learn STEM.
Now, one of the things that I love about these types of projects is the integration of physical computing. One of the things that research shows is that when students are just in front of a computer screen coding, they actually not only will be less integrated with skills like problem solving, dealing with constraints, as well as far more interested in actually pursuing careers that actually apply technology like this to a broader scale. So tell me a little bit about why teachers should be thinking about integrating physical computing environments as opposed to just building coding in a digital environment.
Well, it's a beautiful thing when your code makes something do something, and so kids are very motivated. It's a very authentic experience, and now we don't just have pieces that click together nicely. We've got just a huge amount of mechanical engineering to get everything to work just so. You've got to do some very, very high cognitive level learning to be able to get this stuff incorporated, but at the same time students are motivated to do these projects because they're so fun and they're so engaging, and it's just a different way to learn.
Yeah, well, it's clear that you've got the energy. Thanks very much. What would you give advice for a teacher who's interested in applying? What do they do next?
So head over to our website at Hacking STEM and start looking at some of our lessons. Look at those instructions. Try them out for yourself, and or maybe try them out with an after-school group and get familiarized with them and take what you want to suit your needs.
Awesome. Thanks very much for joining and sharing about what's going on at Hacking STEM. Incredibly exciting.
All right, thank you.
Now, I certainly think passionate educators like Jason can change the world, fuel the minds of students to not only build with technology, but solve real problems the world's facing. And while we talked a lot about technology and some exciting announcements from Microsoft today, that's what it's about. It's about harnessing the potential in every student, empowering amazing heroes in our classrooms. That's our teachers. We heard and met many of them today. They inspire all of us at Microsoft to not only do better, but to support and celebrate the impact that you make on the planet. And when we can take your passion, your potential, your creativity, and apply that into education in classrooms, to harness that amazing opportunity for every student to create the future. We can change the world. That's what we're about. We announced and showed a lot of technology, and we're excited about the technology, but it's all in service of students and helping educators and school leaders do better and do more to help our students drive their future. Thanks very much for joining our Facebook Live. I'm Anthony. You can find more information about all the things that we announced today, some of the links to some of the things we shared in the blog that I posted earlier today. Take a look, and I hope you can join us in future events like our Hack the Classroom event that's happening in June. Thanks very much for joining Facebook Live, and from everyone at Microsoft here in New York City, thanks for joining.